Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Talk Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about a very requested topic. A bunch of you guys have asked me to cover this. It has been going somewhat viral the last month or so and I wanted to look into it myself and see if there's anything to it. So before I jump into that, which is very interesting, I wanted to let you guys know that the month giveaway for March just ended and I have chosen winners. So check your emails. I have emailed all the winners and I will put their names in the description box. There will be another month giveaway next month, but until then you can use the code KendallMar, M-A-R, for March, and that will get you 10% off. Alright y'all, put your thinking caps on. Today we're talking about the man from Taured. I don't know how it's pronounced because Taured is not a real place actually, but there is a very interesting story that's been going around for a really long time now about a man who apparently is from a country called Taured. Let's go ahead and run through this story for those of you who have not heard it. So the story takes place in 1954 when a strange man appeared in a Tokyo airport. He had Caucasian features including a beard and he looked like someone who was dressed on a business trip. So he's very business savvy, you know, moving quick through the airport type of thing, and nothing appeared to be unusual about this man until he went through airport security and they asked to see his passport. This is a picture of his passport, although I cannot confirm that this is a real passport. This very likely could be a hoaxed passport. But his passport shows that he was from a country called Taured. According to the story, there was nothing strange about his passport. It looked completely genuine with stamps and included seals from genuine countries, except for the fact that Taured was a country that officials had never heard of before. I mean, have you heard of Taured? To them, there was no country named Taured. So what would you do in a situation like this? Apparently this man got really angry when they did not know where Taured was. He was frustrated with them, arguing with them. He said that the country had been in existence for thousands of years, and he also said that this wasn't his first time visiting Japan from Taured. So he started getting really angry, but of course they can't let someone through when they don't know what country they're from. Now, according to this story, this man also had a license and he gave that to them. And this license was apparently issued from Taured. He also had a check that was issued from the country that he came from or claims to have come from, Taured. And according to the story, he was also carrying currency from a couple of different European countries.
Where was your passport issued?
At the National Embassy of Raban. It's the capital city of Taured, my home country.
Where are you really from?
So officials decided to bring in a map and have him point out on the map where his country is. He ended up pointing to an area that was between France and Spain, and in actuality he pointed to the Principality of Andorra. There of course was no country by the name Taured. So airport security decided to put this man in a hotel. Apparently he agreed. They put him in a hotel for the night and wanted him to get some sleep while they figured out what the hell to do with him, which in reality I think they'd probably call the airport that he came from and ask like what they did with his passport, but they claim that he stayed in this hotel room and that they had a security guard or someone monitoring him all night. And even though someone was outside of his door all night, somehow the next morning when they went to go check on the man, he was completely gone. And I don't believe there was ever a name for this man, it was just the man from Taured. And apparently when he disappeared, all of the information that he had given them had also disappeared. The license, the passport, everything was just gone. And the man from Taured was never seen or reported to be seen anywhere else ever again. I'm sure many of you are asking, well, where's the source for this? Like, was there any news coverage of it? And the answer is no. Even though this happened in 1954, this wasn't covered for years. It was never picked up by any credible news agency, if any news agencies at all. The incident was never given any journalistic coverage. The story was completely unheard of until it was published in a book. The book is called The Directory of Possibilities, and it was written by Colin Wilson and John Grant. And this was written in 1989, 35 years after this was supposed to have taken place. Now, if this really did take place, why did no one write about it for 39 years. It was then mentioned again in another book in 1999 in a book called Strange But True: Mysteries and Bizarre People by Thomas Sleman. And even though that was the title of the book, no one can prove that this was factual. That book was probably a load of BS. So obviously there is no proof that this even happened. In fact, my guess is that this did not ever happen, and it somehow has been perceived as true by a lot of people on the internet. However, I do like to fantasize about things, so let's pretend that this is true, what could the possibilities be in a situation like that? First of all, people have theories that he could have been an interdimensional traveler. Even though I think this particular story is bullshit, I actually really do believe in the possibility of time travel and the possibility of parallel universes. So in this theory, the man is telling the truth, somehow got out of his dimension and into another alternate dimension where Taured does not exist, because the whole idea with multiple dimensions or multiple realities or universes or whatever you want to call it is that they would be slightly different, that each of them would be slightly different. And even though something like a whole country being called something else could seem really big to us, it could have been like between Taured and whatever. Although I have to say this story is probably BS. But just the idea of it is really interesting to think about, because people who do look at this kind of stuff, scientists that research, you know, the possibility of multiple universes or parallel universes, they always say that chances are time travel or anything like that would have at least 1% to 2% difference, if not more, between realities.
It's critical that you realize that there are two types of time travel and they are radically different. We know how to do it because Einstein showed us the way over 100 years ago. It's surprising how few people actually really know about this in their bones. He showed that if you go out into space and travel near the speed of light and you turn around and you come back, your clock will be ticking off time more slowly. So when you step off, it's going to be the future on planet Earth. You will have time traveled into the future.
So the theory goes that basically he somehow was accidentally placed in this universe, some type of glitch, and he was then shot back into his universe, and because he never existed in this universe, all the documents and papers that he had with him just poofed. The other theory is that he was a time traveler on the same timeline. There seems to be two major ideas when it comes to time travel, that time travel is either hopping back and forth between universes, kind of like, I've said this before, but if you stand in a fun house and look at the fun house mirrors and there's a bunch of versions of yourself, all of those versions of yourself would take a step into another time, even though they're all slightly different. Does that make any sense? Or there's the belief that time travel is not just changing from universe to universe, that it's all in the same universe, but we're just moving back on the same timeline. So there's kind of two different theories. People believe that maybe Taured was a place in the future and that he actually time traveled and just to kind of screw with people to see if it would work. But if he accidentally time traveled into the future or into the past, wouldn't he have like noticed like, hey, I don't think I'm in the right time? Because I would definitely notice if I wasn't even like, if I was in 2018 versus 2017, you know? Like, I think this guy would probably know if he was from thousands of years into the future. Or there's a theory that the whole story was an accident by the officials, that they didn't understand this man's accent. Maybe they didn't understand what he was saying, but then it doesn't go with the story because they also said that he had published documents from Taured. So this whole thing is pretty much an urban legend, guys. I hate to bum you out because it is fun to look at, and I know a lot of you guys thought this was factual because there's a lot of resources that say like this is a true story, but it's just not. Although I really do believe in the possibility of interdimensional travel or time travel or, you know, all these other possibilities with this. I don't think something like this couldn't happen. Although I do think that this story is just a creative story at the end of the day. There are a few other stories of people just showing up in places and claiming to be from somewhere that doesn't exist. However, I will let you know that all of these examples don't have sources either, and they could be made up as well. But let's look at them. In 1851, a man was found wandering around at Frankfurt an der Oder in northeast Germany, and he claimed that he was from a country called Laxaria on the continent of Sakria. Then there was another young man who spoke a completely unrecognizable language, and he was caught stealing a loaf of bread in Paris in 1905, and he said he was from Lisbia. But like I said, those are not verified as true stories, unfortunately, because it would be really interesting if this were true. I have to say, I see why people like to learn about this and why people requested it, because it is really interesting to think about. However, there's just not enough evidence to say that this actually happened. But I want to know your thoughts. Do you believe in it? Is there some type of proof that I'm missing that's like, you know, really shows that this really did happen? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did, if you like these types of trippier ideas or maybe debunking things. It seems like you guys really like this type of content. It's really fun to make and look into all these fun things. So give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.